Welcome back, everybody, to round
Of
three of four of our standard tournament. We've got Jesse Sinopoli playing Jeskai Control versus Daniel Perkins on some Golgari mid-range.
Before you change the channel, I assure you this Jeskai control list is much more reasonable.
Who would change the channel?
Somebody who does not want to see a Jeskai control list full of Sailor means.
Oh, I think that's what people want to see.
Is it?
Yeah. People love the means.
All right, spam means in the chat if you want to see more Sailor means. And we'll see what we can do about making that happen.
He's the sailor of memes. All right. Looks like Jesse's going to have the play here. Daniel already has his opening 7, it looks. Oh, he's throwing it back.
Throwing it back. How do you feel? I guess everybody's going to 6 here.
Yeah.
How
feels good.
Have you played this Golgari deck at all?
Very little.
Very little? Okay.
I've played very little standard in this format at all. I've been watching it like crazy.
Yeah, it's super fun to watch.
But I've been just like super busy, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to play it.
Yeah, I agree. Finding a whole evening is tough. I'm just wondering how the Golgari deck mulligans.
How it mulligans?
It seems like it moves a lot of cards in the early game. It's got Branch Walkers. It's got Jade Light Rangers.
Right.
So I feel like if I could hit 2, maybe 3 mana, I'm good.
Yeah, it depends on how your deck is built. So there's a lot of different builds of this.
Yeah, I'd be on the one. I want to be on the one that explores a lot.
Yeah, they're all going to explore a lot.
Yeah, well, I want Llanowar Elf and explore a lot.
Okay.
I don't think I want to go as crazy as Druid of the Cowl.
That's that's the thing people are doing.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to be in that camp.
Yeah, I think you want 2 lands minimum.
2 lands opener.
Looks like everybody's going to 5.
Even if you have a Llanowar Elf?
Yeah, you don't want to keep a 1-land Llanowar Elf hand.
Alright, so 5 for everybody. Just going to take his once per game pile shuffle.
One of the big reasons that Explore is doing well, or was doing well, is that it hits all your land drops.
Yeah.
And the deck is really predicated on hitting all of those land drops. Like, you want to cast your 6 drops on turn 6.
I see.
Or your Doom Whisperers on 5. Llanowar Elf helps that a lot. Being able to get down like a Vraska before anybody else does is a huge deal.
Sure.
But not the end of the world if you can't. At least not in the mirror.
Yeah, I was talking with our good friend and avid Junsman, Kyle.
Oh.
He was very interested in playing this deck in a standard tournament. He thinks standard's sweet right now, and he's typically a modern advocate. And he was saying, I'm thinking about these cards, etc., etc. And I said, yeah, I agree. If I was going to build the deck, and this probably speaks more to my play style than anything else, I would want to be as like diverse in my deck as possible. I want the Explore package.
Yeah.
And then I want like all 1 and 2 ofs from there.
I don't know if I can get behind that, but sure, I can see where you're coming from on that one. Just get yourself like a little toolbox going.
Yeah, there's like just so many options here.
So it's not like Mulch and Satyr Wayfinder in the format. Like you're exploring these cards to the bottom 1 at a time.
Yeah.
Or into the grave 1 at a time, rather.
Right, so you can, if a card's critical.
Yeah, getting that Druid of the Cowl counter there was a big deal.
Yep, and he's got a Duress in hand. Let's see if he fires it off.
So
he should this turn, because you're trying to catch the. Well, he's going to go with a Jade Light Ranger.
He's got multiple Jade Light Rangers. I think he's fine with these just getting countered.
No, I'm fine with that. I'm saying the Duress you're trying to get his Teferi. Like, that's the card I want to duress. So casting it on turn 4, ideal. Even better if I have a follow-up. Like, if I could duress and then Branch Walker or something.
Yeah,
that's where I want to be.
You can't really plan on duressing a Teferi. Just because them casting it on 5 doesn't matter. Like, they can cast it at any point. Like, the second Teferi is fine. They're all about controlling. The way you have to position your duresses is to...
I think you got to put this Llanowar Elf in the bin.
Yeah, I definitely don't want it on top, but he's going to put it there. 1 counter on the J-Light Ranger is good enough. The way you have to leverage your duresses is to get rid of like counter magic to force a very specific thing through, or like you can't just take out the threats and then hope that you can kill them before they draw them back.
Okay.
You can't just duress for the sake of duressing. You have to duress for a very specific reason.
Sure.
As we see here, as Jesse just draws a Ral off the top.
Not without a little effort from our very favorite Chemistry's Insight.
Yeah. But there's just so many different ways of moving stuff around. Cards around, specifically.
Ooh, we're going to get to see the special... I call this the debacle art.
The debacle art.
Because you had to experience a debacle to get this art.
That's true. I don't even like the art all that much, if I'm being honest. It looks a little cartoony.
Yeah,
looks a little League of Legends anime-ish.
Oh, sure. Is it unique art, or is it the same art that's been extended?
It's definitely unique.
Okay, it's unique art. So this is different art that has been...
I don't really like the original art on this either, so
that extends
we'll let that one sit with people. Card's good. Card's very good. Probably would see more play if it weren't for Teferi existing. But even then, it still sees like a good amount of play.
Yeah, I mean, it's great in that it comes down, it can take out a guy, and it's giving you just the finest of card selections.
Yeah. In terms of a secondary win condition, aside from Teferi, I think Niv Mizzet's just better.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
There's the big boy.
Big Daddy Carnage Tyrant.
So this is where his duress is going to shine, because he's got to be able to Carnage Tyrant attack and duress away the Settle the Wreckage first.
Yeah, so I don't know if Daniel Perkins is going to put Jesse on having that Settle the Wreckage. Like I was saying before, most of the Jeskai lists run right now 4 Clarion, 2 Nova in the board, or in the main. And a lot of them are even omitting Settle entirely from the board.
I see.
Honestly, he probably doesn't have any better plays, so he might as well, but...
Yeah, so, like, I'm not opposed to just casting it.
We've got a Drake here. How big is this Drake? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
4. The search doesn't count.
Right, there's another card under there, though.
They're spread out 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 6 cards in there, and the search doesn't count, so 5.
You know, I don't know if all of them count, so we'll see. Oh, man, that's a good one.
Is this the Immortal Sun?
Yep.
See, this is the kind of card I want, like, a one of.
Yeah, Immortal Sun is very good as a one of. It's going to eat a Syncopate here. It actually gets exiled.
Wait a minute. There you go. It's like, listen, if my Immortal Suns can kill Drakes, I'm in. All right, so he's going to attack Ral, and I don't... He had to have done the math here so that the Drake can't kill it. I don't know that I would just make...
No, he made the trade.
That's pretty intense.
Trade makers. Yeah, so it sets Ral back. But honestly, not that much. Like, the plus on Ral is perfectly fine.
Yeah. Here's Big Daddy Niv-Mizzet.
Yeah, Niv Mizzet is my finisher of choice here. It's very strong.
Good too. He's a Pyron.
But he's a creature, and as such, he is subject to the whims of the Chupacabra.
Here's the Chupacabra.
Daniel, I don't think Daniel has a duress in hand. I think the last card in hand there is a cast down.
Oh, was I misreading it the whole time? I thought it was a duress. This is going to be good if we're going to play. How long can this Chupacabra go before Jesse has to waste like a big removal spell on it?
I mean, he'd use the removal spell here if he had it.
Well, he's got a Clarion and Settle the Wreckage in his hand.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't care about that much. But now he can just Clarion it.
Yeah, now Clarion's definitely going to happen next turn.
So if he didn't have this Chemister's Insight and the Chupacabra was going to kill the Ral, he would have definitely done something about the Chupacabra on his turn, like a 1-for-1. But now he just gets another uptick, free Clarion. Not free, but a nice little 2-for-1 out of it, and then he gets to run out the Niv-Mizzet again.
Yeah, there's never any free lunch.
There is free real estate, though.
It's free real estate?
It's free real estate.
Here he is. Niv-Mizzet.
Just the Niv. Sitting on this Clarion.
He's really gonna get.
Yeah, he has 2 Clarions. I don't know why he's sitting on it, but he is. Good thing he did, too, because Daniel Perkins just drew a fine finality.
Yeah, block one of them.
No, I think you get to settle him here.
You have to settle him down?
Yeah, so there's a premium. Oh, that Chupacabra's not dead.
Chupacabra lives. Chupacabra lives, even though he wants it to die. There we go. All right, so he's going to find.
It's also tapped, but whatever. We'll get there.
All right. One step at a time. He's going to find something and something else.
If it resolves.
I think it's going to because Jesse only has 1 blue up.
It's never stopped a negate before.
Oh, I guess negates is the card he could be representing. Also, syncopate.
All right, so it looks like we're getting Carnage Tyrant and Chupacabra. 2 very good cards. It looks like we're going to run out the Chupacabra here and try to take down this Niv-Mizzet.
Here's the Chups. I don't think Jesse can cast a Sinister Sabotage. I think he only had a blue up, but...
Yeah, I can't see what all of his lands are because they're stacked that way.
They're organized. Red, white, blue, red in 2 stacks, and then islands on the end.
Huh. Well, that happened, I guess.
Yep, we're beyond it now. I used to think I was being a butthead when I would be like, you've got the 1 blue untapped, and then like get the read on them. All right, there's a blue-white one. So now he's got some options. Niv-Mizzet in. Passes. So Jesse probably thinks he's like ahead enough here that the Ral dying doesn't matter. That's probably why he let that one go, because he had so many options there.
Yeah. He's got this Nimbus. He doesn't need a Rouse Eric.
Here's a Carnage Tyrant. It followed up by a
Druid
Druid of the Cow.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's an island going away so that we can have the insight of a chemister.
Yep, running it back.
Look at how good this card is. He's going to draw 2 cards here. One, and then it's going to trigger the Niv Mizzet. So when you draw a card, it deals the damage. All right. More blue mana. And a handful of cards. See, I would just start casting things here.
And Explosion You out. That'll do it.
Explosion you for the game.
Yeah, that's a rough game 1.
Yeah, he almost got to the point where he could start like churning things, but he needed, he had the fine to get the 2 guys back, but I felt like he didn't get his lands to the point where he could cast 2 spells back to back.
Right, yeah. So there was a mull to 5, first off.
Yep.
For both of them.
Both ends.
So they both started very slow. Daniel not getting the lands early was pretty rough. Getting his first Druid of the Cowl syncopated was probably a huge deal, considering he had to take 2 turns off after that.
Yeah. If he were to have the Druid of the Cow to kind of bring him up to speed quicker.
Yeah, he could have cast a Jade Light, which would have helped him dig for lands.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
But that's the way it goes sometimes.
The more I watch people play with Explore and Surveil, the more it's interesting because Scry is private.
Yes.
Surveil also, I guess, is private. You get to see... Can be. Like they put in the graveyard. Explore public knowledge.
Yeah.
You reveal the card. And you get to see how skill testing those types of abilities are.
Yes.
They're hugely skill testing, and it really makes me fall in love with them all over again.
All over again.
Like Scry, you don't know how good of a scryer somebody is.
Yeah.
Because like they look at the card, maybe they don't even pick it all the way up off the deck.
Okay.
And then they like think, what I mean, you're just never going to see the card.
Correct. A lot of times you can make some assumptions about like what they're scrying.
Yeah, you can tell if it's like a binary land or no land, like in a limited match. That's super easy.
Right. Land, no land, super easy to tell, but also if they're digging for specific answers.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're on a binary decision, it's pretty easy, but if they're on like an opening hand and maybe they have like 2 lands and they're looking at a 3-mana card, and they're like, well, if I have 2 more draws to get this, and like it makes it a little bit more, muddies the waters, as they might say.
It does indeed muddy the waters. Interested to see what Daniel's sideboard is here. So this is a Jeskai control with... He didn't see any Teferis. Although he's got to assume they're in there still. Like, you can't just be like, oh, he didn't play Teferi, he doesn't have it type deal.
Right.
But you got to see the Niv Mizzet, which is a little bit awkward for your sideboarding because you have to keep some amount of removal in to supplement Vraska's Contempt because you really want to be able to use that on walkers.
Yep.
But there's not a lot of good sideboard options in the Golgari colors against the controlled deck.
Sure.
So, interested to see what he goes with here. Usually you just kind of load up on more walkers. He took the Immortal Sun out, which I don't agree with, but if you're bringing in more walkers, it makes sense.
Yeah, the turn he cast that Immortal Sun, I thought he should have cast a different spell, but that's just me.
Yeah, so you definitely wanted to resolve the Immortal Sun.
Yeah, you're correct. There's very few answers for the Immortal Sun in the Jeskai control deck.
Right.
And maybe I underestimate how good it is.
So it immediately shuts off
Golgari.
Ralzeric.
Shuts it down.
Completely shut down. And then every turn, Daniel's going to get some amount of mana in the form of like discounts on his creatures.
Yep.
And he's going to get to draw an extra card.
Right.
Which is a huge deal.
So it's just an accelerant the whole way around.
It's just a ton of value.
Just the most valuable value card.
All the value.
Love the Immortal Sun.
It looks like Jesse's bringing in some Shalais and some Lyras.
I don't hate this plan. Like, if you're going to replace Drakes with those cards, Shalai and Lyra could be huge. You could just go with this plan of, like, okay, here's my Shalai. I only have to protect one creature now. I can resolve any other creatures I want.
Yeah,
and you still have to, so...
The fact that you're playing a Shalai means there's fewer answers or fewer, ways to protect your other creatures. Not huge on it, but it's okay. Just flyers in general are good against the Golgari deck.
Concur.
Being able to punch in that damage, even if it's just 3 at a time, A-okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about the Golgari deck. Like, you get... It'll grind with you. It'll grind forever. Grind better than most of the other decks in the format. So putting a clock on it.
Mm-hmm. So I see a card in Daniel's hand, which I don't know that it was in his sideboard. It might have been his main deck, but I feel is really good in this matchup. In Assassin's Trophy.
Okay.
Gives you an extra card or two depending on how many you're playing against the Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
So that you can be more flexible with your Vraska's Contempts.
Yeah, Jesse does have a pretty diverse suite of threats in his deck. He's got the...
And here we go with a turn 1 Duress.
Leading off.
This is not where I like Duress to be. Like, you take his Teferi.
He's got Justice Strike and Lava Coil to interact with you.
Yeah,
and is Mizzet in the behind there?
Yeah, he's got a ton of different cards here. Lots of gas. Twelker.
7/16.
Thanks for the follow. But he's got so many turns to draw back into Teferi. Like, you're not putting the pressure on.
Yeah. I would have taken the Lava Coil.
Lava Coil's fine. Justice Strike. I mean, anything really is good. I just wouldn't have cast it.
There's a Jade Light. Assassin's Trophy. I would leave it there. Leave it there.
It depends on how many lands he's got. I might leave it there, bin it. Or you just bin it, and then look at the next one. I definitely would not leave it on top if I had fewer than 2 cards left or 2 lands left in hand.
I see one on top of his hand there.
Yeah, he's playing a little bit fast and loose with it, but that's fine. He's only got the 1 black mana.
Ooh, Jesse's chosen to not Lava Coil the Jade Light. Interesting.
Yeah, taking 4 here is a pretty big deal. 4 is not a small amount. We're just going to seal it away.
Seal away, seal away, seal away.
Looks like you wanted to represent both Syncopating and Seal Away there, which is okay.
All right, here's a 5th land.
Not the right kind of 5th land to play this Doom Whisperer.
Nope,
but
yeah, we need another black source. But I think we're going to get a Carnage Tyrant regardless next turn.
Well, if he draws a land.
There it is. Here's the 5th. 2nd black source, 6th land. Nope.
All right,
Doom
we're just going to run this Doom Whisperer into obvious counter magic. Nope.
And it resolves. Okay.
Might be a negate in hand instead of a syncopate. I can't really tell from Jesse. I think that last card's a syncopate, though. And here's an Mizzet. All right, we're going to surveil end of turn. It's not explore. You just got to look.
Surveil, semi-private. Put the Llanowar Elf in the bin.
I don't know what the other card is. Can't see it. Might be a Path to Discovery.
All right. Jesse encouraging swift play, as we can't think every time we have a surveil. Shaper Sanctuary.
Shaper Sanctuary. Not a combo with the Carnage Tyrant in hand, but we'll do pretty well against this Doom Tyrant.
Yep. Here is Assassin's Trophy on the Niv Mizzet. Shaper Sanctuary, this was a key card in the green-black decks to help you fight with the red-black decks in the previous format.
Right.
If you could resolve this on turn 1, and then all your creatures afterwards would, you know, you were getting 0, or you were 1 for wanting them, or 1 for zeroing them.
Right.
Because you got to draw the card off their removal spell.
Yeah, it was a solid one. Not enough to really swing that matchup, but it was a good sideboard card that kept you in the fight.
Yeah, the red-black deck was...
It was good.
Really good. When your sideboard cards are just like, yeah, pretty, you know.
Well, that's how it is in this matchup. Daniel Perkins sideboard card. Like, there's no haymakers against this Jeskai control. They just have so much card advantage.
Yeah. All right. Here's Explosion for 2, and then a Lava Coil to follow up.
He gets to draw a card. I guess you can surveil before drawing a card. Both solid.
Yeah. Oh,
both bend.
Bends them down. All right.
You might be looking for something specific here.
So you didn't keep the first Chupacabra. Can't imagine he keeps this one. Goes to 9. Daniel's correctly identified that his life total doesn't matter.
I mean,
When he's dead, he's dead. Like when
Yes.
Jesse has control of the game, he's dead.
But we just saw the explosion from Jesse. So we know that there's at least some amount of direct damage that's going to be employed here.
All right. Here's a Carnage Tyrant.
Carnage Tyrant. Here we go. Not a combo with Shaper Sanctuary.
Nope. But good card all on its own. This was one you could have earned some money on. I think Carnage Tyrant got down below $10. It was like $5 maybe at one point.
Really? I didn't think it got that low, but
And now it is way up there. This might be a $25 card.
oh, I think it's higher than that. Carnage Tyrant.
Let's see on the old MTG Goldfish.
He drew the first one off of Sanctuary. He didn't draw the second one.
Yeah, 35. And I think, yeah, you could definitely get one below 10. Yeah, you can get him at 8 back in the heydays of the red deck. And you could pre-order apparently at way less than that. So sometimes a little bit of speculation is where you want to be, because it is worth some dollars now. Oh, wait a minute. I was looking at the online price. The paper price. So when the set came out, 15. Yeah, it was down. Okay. It was in the $17,
Here's
17
Fairy.
to 20 range.
Does not get there. Daniel Perkins taking this one down. Jesse drew a bunch of land, and honestly, the Shaper Sanctuary wasn't bad out of the board there.
No, yeah,
it let him keep up on cards at least a little bit.
Yeah, keeping up on cards, real important against a deck with cards like Teferi, Chemistry's Insight, Search for Iskanta,
Explosion,
Raul
Zarek.
Yeah,
Mizzet.
all those cards are just generating lots and lots of card advantage for Jesse.
Yeah. Not to mention board wipes inherently create card advantage or have the opportunity to create card advantage.
Yes.
Yeah, this Jeskai control deck lives and breathes on card advantage.
As I live and breathe.
Ixalan was never really... It wasn't a heavily open set at all. It was very underpowered.
Yeah, even in the draft format, I never felt like I was doing anything amazing.
Yeah, so there's obviously some powerful cards like Carnage Tyrant and like Hostage Taker is pretty powerful.
Oh, man. Do you remember when that card was good? It's not good anymore, but when it was good, it felt real nice.
Yeah, but even those cards, it feels like they just... I don't know. They're pretty lackluster.
Yeah, the most powerful card in the set, in my opinion, is Search for Azcanta.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that card is just it's a very plodding, it's a workhorse style card. It's going to come down, it's going to do its thing, it's plodding along. Even when you flip it, which is the most powerful thing you can do with these cards, these flip cards.
Yeah.
It's still like, okay, I got to do more work to get my advantage out of this.
Right. Yeah, so Search is good. Contempt is good, yeah. Like, they have some good cards, but they're mostly, like, good role-playing cards. There's not, like, a good... Like, there were no good archetypes to really come out of that format.
Sure.
And for a tribal format, that's not really what you want to see. Alright, we're countering the Jade Light Ranger.
With the Sinister Sabotage. Finding a land on top, and I love that play. Just, like, flip it into play.
Flipping it.
Because what he's doing is he's saying...
He's being a little flippant is what he's doing.
He's being a little flippant, and he's saying, I don't have any lands left in hand. Saying, this card's important to me. Here's a Druid.
Yeah, I would have
Cowl.
loved Tribal to be a thing at any point there, but competing with Kaladesh, Ixalan was never really going to see much play.
Yeah, and I think the Dinos deck was really fun to play. It wasn't very good, but it was very fun.
Yes, there were multiple Dinos that I played that were fun.
And they printed even more Dinos in the in the M19, the set that followed up.
Yeah, were there a lot of Dinos in that set?
I wouldn't say there was a lot, but there was like the 2/5 that something happened. It had a triggered ability.
Yeah.
And like it just wasn't enough. Just nobody cared. They're like, oh good, we got these Dinos.
We got these Dinos.
Here's 6 mana. Here's a Carnage Tyrant. Can't do anything about it, so. And it resolves. It says can't be countered right on the card. And Explosion for 4.
2.
Oh, 2, okay. Is the base on that blue, blue, red, red?
Yep.
All right.
Yes, sir.
They don't make them like they used to.
I mean, what more do you want?
I want it to be a reverse Sphinx's Revelation.
The Sphinx's Revelation costs 1 colored mana less and gains you life and steal it instead of dealing damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, dealing damage is
Way better than gaining life.
way better than gaining life. Yeah, Vraska didn't see a ton of play in Ixalan, but that's less about Vraska and more about the other decks in the format. Like, Black-Red was just bonkers.
Yeah, very, very good. So, the green-black player left in Chupacabra. This is a very heavy, creature-heavy deck.
Yeah.
It's depending on Niv Mizzet, and the Chupacabra is just like another way to kill Niv Mizzet, because his other removal spell I believe he has in the list is Cast Down, and it doesn't kill legends.
Yeah, he's got Cast Down, Contempt, Assassin's Trophy.
So there's a lot of removal needed because Jesse actually has a lot of threats, and you need the other types of removal to handle the planeswalkers.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have 100% taken Cast Down out.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's
know
in there.
if he did that. But depending on the numbers of Contempts and Assassin's Trophies, I could see leaving in like 1 or 2 Chupacabras. Like, being able to get it back off of a find is a big deal. To killing him isn't a pinch.
Yeah.
Justice Strike. The old Boros Terminate.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think back on a time where I played a more streamlined deck than the final red-black versions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it shifted around to match the metagame once, depending on how much red-black was in the metagame at the time.
Right.
And I think the only deck I've ever played that was that efficient and streamlined, where every card just fit its role perfectly, did exactly what you wanted to do, and cost exactly what you wanted it to cost, was the mono-black pack rat deck from the Theros standard.
Sure.
And that deck was ruthlessly efficient. It didn't have, I mean, that deck, you didn't ever have a mana problem because it was, a monocolored deck. And this deck felt that way. Like, you had to mulligan, appropriately.
Right.
But I never felt like I was playing a two-color deck. I was very rarely ever stuck with a Vraska's Contempt in my hand or a Chandra in my hand.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Man, these Jadelight Rangers are really overloading the board here. Walking right into a board wipe. If Jesse has one.
Clarion takes care of them. They only got 3 toughness, so...
Yeah. He went way deep on this when he didn't need to. So 3 damage to all your guys. Kill everything. Could have really stopped after the first Jade Light and attack for 1. Doesn't do a whole lot. But it's a thing you can do. Oh, duressing. Really?
Yeah, we know he doesn't negate. And so he's in a top deck war with Jesse, which is not a bad place to be, right?
It's pretty bad. So your top decks are going to be more impactful on average, but Jesse's got a ton of draw.
Yeah.
And so it's quickly going to be not a top deck war.
Oh, he's going to bin the Assassin's Trophy.
So he's got 1 in hand, and Daniel knows he's got 1 card in hand, so...
He's very speculative on whether the 1 in hand is even going to resolve, because you assume Jesse with 3 cards in hand, one of them's going to be Syncopate, Negate, something of that nature, right?
Swinging for 3. Here we go. Down to 13. 5 more of those.
Yeah.
You got it. Jesse
Draws.
has another Clarion if he needs it.
Oh, here's the Carnage Tyrant.
This is the big deal. Tap all these forests. Here's Big Bad Carnage Daddy.
Lots of Carnage coming. So puts him to 10. And oddly enough, Jesse will be at 1 here if nothing else happens. Or no. Does that put him to dead? Is it Carnage Tyrant's a 7/6, not a 6/7?
Yeah.
So it would put him to dead exactly.
Puts him to dead.
So forces the Clarion. And Jesse is
Dead.
drawing counter spells when he needs board wipes.
Yep, and that's the way it goes. So getting around the Carnage Tyrant is what you need to do if you're on this Jeskai control list.
Yep.
That's why there's a lot of Novas now.
Yeah.
Both in the main and board. I
Right.
think normally you want like 2 in the main, 1 in the board is what we're seeing a lot of.
Sure.
But yeah, that's just kind of the concession you have to make.
Right, yeah, if you want to beat the Golgari. So are all the Golgari decks on 4 Carnage Tyrants? I've
Not all of them, but
usually
a lot of
like
them
I read one list and like to get the feel for the deck in the numbers. I need to focus more on the numbers in my research.
Yeah, so you definitely find Carnage Tyrants as 4-ofs in some of the lists.
Yep.
But that's not normal. Normally you see like 2 and 1 on the board or something like that.
Right.
You don't want to go too over the top with Carnage Tyrant because you can just very easily get a hand of like 4 land and 2 Carnage Tyrants and you're just like,
I don't know.
I'm not going to get there. So yeah, Carnage Tyrant's good. Jeskai Control's also good.
Yeah, I think these are 2 of the premier decks in the format, and I think building them the right way and learning to play the deck optimally gives you the most opportunity to beat the cards that beat you.
Absolutely. So, we'll be back here in less than 10 minutes. There's one table left. I want to go see what they're playing. And we'll have a fourth match for you.
Our final match.
Find a good one.
Excellent. We'll see you guys in a minute.